He survived beasts. He survived extinction. But what happens when grief becomes instinct? In Feast for Flesh, Primal shifts from survival to obsession. This episode isn't about fighting monsters, it's about grief with nowhere to go. Spear has lost Fang, and now wanders a world that feels too big, too loud, and too alive. We open in a dense jungle, alive, humid, and overwhelming. Tartakovsky doesn't just draw environments, he composes them like paintings. Saturated greens, piercing sunlights, thick negative space, every frame feels still until something moves. Bright birds flash through the canopy, insects hum, leaves drip with heat, and Spear walks through it, silent and hollow. Tartakovsky uses long-held wide shots here. No cuts, no music, just space swallowing the character. A visual way of saying loneliness. Then, a grasshopper. Small, fragile, insignificant. Its movement is animated with snappy high-frame contrast timing, standing out against Spear's slow, heavy motion. The contrast matters. It tells us instantly this tiny creature will change everything. The markings of its body trigger a memory of Fang. Notice how Tartakovsky handles memory? No dialogue, no flashback exposition, just a sudden shift in lighting and color temperature. Warm tones invade cold ones. Emotion replaces information. For the first time since her death, Spear follows something not out of survival, but attachment. At the waterfall, time stretches. Tartakovsky uses time-lapse lighting transitions, day sliding into night in a single continuous shot. No dialogue, just loneliness rendered in color. When the grasshopper flies, Spear panics. He chases it upward. The camera angle shifts into a steep vertical composition, making Spear look small against the towering trees. Then the ground collapses. Here Tartakovsky uses a hard smash cut. Bright jungle, instant darkness. No slow transition. The emotional state snaps with the cut. Spear lands in the darkness. Color drains, saturation dies. Only cold blues and sickly greens remain. A visual descent into grief's underworld. Spear tries to find a way out of these caves. Depressed, saddened, a loss. He stops. He hears a munching sound. He starts to hear it again. He looks down and sees this underground dwelling, goblin-like creature gnawing on his leg. Spear throws the goblin-like creature, and it runs back at Spear enraged. Spear stomps the creature, killing it brutally. From the distance, Spear hears numerous growls from the darkness in the cave and feels surrounded. Shapes emerge from the dark. Tartakovsky animates the creatures with asymmetrical silhouettes and jerky timing, making them feel wrong before they even attack. Spear is captured, suspended, and surrounded. He witnesses death. He sees half-eaten bodies, hanging, eaten, and dismembered. Spear then sees 5 goblin-like creatures eating a body, then other goblins eating around them, and finally looks down and sees a goblin eating his right forearm. These creatures are vicious. They're carnivore. Then a sound. Their grasshoppers chirp. Tartakovsky uses sound as a visual trigger. We see Spear's eyes brighten before we see the insect. Hope enters the frame before it enters the story. Chaos erupts. Here the animation style shifts. Faster cuts, sharper impact frames, thicker line weight. Violence becomes a graphic design. This isn't just action, it's emotion through motion design. The grasshopper, tiny and delicate, is animated with smooth arcs and soft easing, the opposite of the goblin's jagged motion. A visual metaphor, softness in a brutal world. Spear witnesses one goblin taking a femur bone and swinging it like a bat. He strikes the grasshopper, killing it instantly. Tartakovsky slows the time frame down. Extreme slow motion, single impact frame, silence. Grief doesn't explode, it drops. Then Spear erupts, killing everything in his sight. Silence returns. No score, no ambient noise. Tartakovsky holds on a still frame of Spear kneeling. He builds a stone grave, a small gesture, huge meaning. He takes a Fang necklace that is dropped from a skeleton. Here Tartakovsky uses a tight close-up with shallow depth. Background disappears, only memory remains. He wears the tooth. Fang is no longer beside him. She is part of him. Light pierces the cave opening. Tartakovsky draws sunlight as pure white negative space, cutting through dark shapes. Spear climbs towards it, rebirth through composition. He steps back into the jungle. Then, The chirp again. Multiple grasshoppers. Life continuing. Nature indifferent. Memory persistent. Spear touches the Fang necklace and walks forward. No triumph, just endurance. Feast for Flesh isn't about monsters. It's about how Tartakovsky turns composition into emotion, timing into psychology, silence into grief. No exposition, no dialogue, just pure visual storytelling. Weaponized. Next week, Spear keeps moving. Not because he's healed, but because stopping means surrender. No comfort, no answers, only endurance. Because in Primal, grief doesn't fade. It hardens. Stories don't live in dialogue. They live in motion, in color, and in silence. This is Gooch reminding you, art isn't dead. It's just fighting for its soul.